Grab a snack, some snarky comments, and dark humor, and strap in for a ride with so many twists and turns. Wednesday has grown from a creepy child to an even creepier teen, and we still love every iteration. We meet Wednesday, walking through her high school hallway, casting a long shadow along an otherwise ridiculous bright background. This typical high school involves your tried and true Letterman jacket-wearing jocks whose only personality is bully. She does not waste time as she goes on a mission to find out who bound, gagged, and threw her brother in her locker. After paying a visit to the jocks in the middle of what we can assume is water polo practice and dropping a couple of piranhas in the pool, our girl Wednesday is expelled after the parents of the boy who lost a testicle threatened to press attempted murder charges. While a series of Jenna Ortega in jail would have been fun, we cut to a shiny hearse on our way to a new school, and Wednesday's parents have settled on sending her to Nevermore Academy, a school they attended in their youth. Wednesday is not having a good day. She fails to accomplish her goal of murdering the bullies, and she is being sent to a school she has been resisting for years. And worst of all, she has to watch her parents grope each other like a bunch of teenagers. She has the same look I have when I see my parents be human, gross. Wednesday is in the full-on rebellious teen angsty phase and hates everything and everyone except, in her case, is quadrupled. She apparently doesn't want to be like her mom Morticia, who, by the way, is ridiculously hot, or be a housewife or be in love and have kids. I mean, sure, okay, I get it, I guess. This move to Nevermore at this particular point is irking her now more than ever because she has been having her very own That's So Raven visions, complete with body jerking and visions of the past and future. She is dealing with these visions in the most teen way possible, denial and pretending like they don't exist. And we all know that always goes well. Anyway, the school is smack dab in the middle of one of those small towns with diners based on pilgrims and has a positively biblical and not foreboding name, Jericho. I suppose if you are going to have a school full of monsters, that would be the place to put it. However, it would mean you would stick out like a sore thumb. Maybe Florida would have worked better, just saying. Suffice it to say, these conservative pilgrim-loving folks are not in love with the idea of freaks in their town, and they go out of their way to say so with singers like Freaks and Bullying. Some boy decides to go camping and settles on the forest right next to the school with werewolves, vampires, and all manner of monsters. Even after being dropped off next to a sign that essentially says don't go in there and getting warned, he walks into the creepiest forest. I mean, seriously. Well, I am not getting attached to him. Sure enough, he gets mauled by some unseen monster. And later on, we see two sheriffs discussing the recent murders in the forest over his severed head. Apparently, these attacks have been happening often recently, and the sheriff has been telling people it's a bear, but he suspects the students and staff from Nevermore, which makes sense. We meet the principal of Nevermore, Larissa Weems, aka Our Lady Brienne of Tarth, and she is a bright quintessential preppy blonde who was Morticia's roommate, and there seems to be some tension there. However, she seems happy enough to accept Wednesday into the school and takes her to her new room to meet her new roommate Enid Sinclair. The look of poor horror on the Addams family's faces is understandable. I mean, it looks like someone vomited a rainbow into that room, and Wednesday is full-on allergic to color. Same girl, same. Enid and Wednesday's situation again mirrors her mother's high school experience, and Wednesday seems not so happy about her choice of a roommate, and she is apparently a hugger MMM. Enid has a blog, adorable, perfectly painted claws, and prances around everywhere she goes. She also takes it upon herself to give Wednesday the tour of Nevermore. And like any great high school, there are cliques. There are the Fangs, Furs, Scales, and Stoners. We love the double entendre here. We also get to meet all the characters who aren't background characters. The queen and resident mean girl Bianca Barclay, Ajax, one of the Stoners, and Xavier Thorpe, our brooding, angsty, and hot artist. Now it's time to say goodbye. And Morticia, who Wednesday constantly accuses of coldness, indifference, and having no heart, seems to be having a difficult time with leaving her little storm cloud, as Gomez calls her. Morticia gifts Wednesday a pendant with the letter M or W, depending on how you look at it, as a symbol of their connection and to help her conjure visions. However, Wednesday essentially spits at this gift and shows her utter disdain. I mean, your mom seems cool, but alright. Teen angst for the win, I guess. Morticia also warns her against attempting to leave and that she has warned all the relatives against offering her any sanctuary. Then she, Gomez, and Pugsley leave Nevermore as they all seem misty and sad about leaving Wednesday. However, Gomez leaves Thing there to keep Wednesday safe. It seems the roommate situation is off to a great start as Wednesday is decoloring her side of the room and simultaneously insulting Enid, which leads to a thorny confrontation and not-so-veiled murder threats. That's when we meet Miss Thornhill, the dorm mom who brings Wednesday a black dahlia flower and warns against having boys in the dorm. It looks like we have a classic duel because as much as Wednesday is so averse to turning into her mother, she can't help but be great at fencing, and it seems she has something against bullies of any kind. In an attempt to defend the wheezing and wimpy Rowan, she challenges Bianca to a duel, but in true Wednesday style, the first one to draw blood will win the match. However, after a valiant effort, Bianca defeats Wednesday and draws first blood. Later on, Wednesday is at the nurse's office brooding and getting bandaged, and Rowan is also getting some medical attention. They talk, and Rowan thanks her and is glad that there is now another outcast at this outcast school. As Wednesday leaves the nurse's office, she almost gets killed by a falling gargoyle. However, she gets saved by the brooding hot boy Xavier, who, it turns out, is a family friend she saved from being cremated alive. However, Wednesday does not remember him. But is that a spark we see? Wednesday returns to her room, and it does not take time for her to discover Thing, and after threatening him, she gets him to turn and be loyal to her as she still plots her escape. Is it me? Or does this scene make you want to have your own disembodied hand as a friend? Now, because Wednesday did attempt to murder the whole swim team, she has mandatory therapy sessions in town. The principal takes her and informs her that she will be keeping a close eye on her. We meet her therapist, Dr. Kinbot, who seems adept at dealing with troubled teens and seems like the perfect match for Wednesday. However, maybe not, because she allows Wednesday to go to the bathroom and begin her escape plan. Wednesday finds her way to a coffee shop, where she tries to bribe a normie barista Tyler, who is apparently too moral to fall for a bribe but nonetheless agrees to drive her after his shift. So Wednesday settles on sitting and waiting but chooses the most inconspicuous place to do so. Immediately she becomes the target of bullies dressed in pilgrim apparel. Seriously, I would not bully anyone especially dressed like that, but okay. They do not succeed because Wednesday knows Kung Fu. But before she causes any real damage, the sheriff walks in, and it turns out he is Tyler's dad, who warns Tyler to stay away from Wednesday. He also adds that Wednesday's father belongs in jail. I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Wednesday is found by the principal and is promptly returned to the school. However, on the way home, one of the visions she had earlier comes true, and Netflix gives us a long drawn-out look at the driver's broken neck, and let's just say it could have been shorter. As soon as they reach Nevermore, Wednesday plays her cello to soothe her troubled mind, but it does not work. She has a conversation with Enid, who informs her that the cute little nails are all she can do and that if she never goes through the transformation, she will be alone forever. Wednesday remarks that this would be the ideal situation. This sentiment would be more believable if she did not attempt murder to avenge her brother and if she wasn't wearing her mother's memento. She recruits Enid to help her escape and sends Thing to Tyler's house to get him to communicate with her through Enid's laptop. I must say, Tyler's reaction to seeing a disembodied Frankenstein hand in his bedroom is way more understated than it should be, but I digress. They come up with a plan to meet up at the mandatory Harvest Festival for the escape. Tyler, being the helpful little boy he is, swipes the file of the murder. Gomez is suspected off from his father. Wednesday once again evades the principal but immediately meets up with the same bullies from the coffee shop, this time armed with bats. And she has a vision about Rowan dying in the woods, so she follows him to warn or protect him, but, surprise, he tries to kill her first. Rowan claims his mother had a vision that Wednesday is essentially the catalyst of the apocalypse, and she must die by his hand. But before he can kill her, some very bad CGI monster kills Rowan. It looks like it is not a bear, after all. While this might not bode well for Wednesday, it seems no one thinks she is the murderer, even though her history might suggest otherwise. This little plot twist puts her plans of escape on hold for now, and she tells her parents during their crystal ball call that she will love it here.